Today's story will be: do you believe in debts from past lives? Could they seep into your subconscious? Welcome to the world of debts from past lives through these chilling ghost stories. This story takes place in Xi'an County, Jiangsu Province. Li Zhongping family lived in Tengjiang Village, Zhangjiaowei Town. Recently, Li Zhongping wife, Kuihua, was nearing her due date. However, their son was working in the county seat and the factory was too busy. His supervisor hadn't granted him leave yet. It wasn't until the day Kuihua went into labor that the family called Li Zhongping. Only then did the supervisor approve his leave so he could return home. Since Li Zhongping wasn't at home, only his elderly mother was there. She couldn't manage to take Kuihua to the hospital in time, so the family had no choice but to let her deliver the baby at home. Mrs. Wang, Li Zhongping, mother, had already called him several hours earlier, urging him to come home. Although the county seat was just an hour's drive away, 3 hours had passed, and he still hadn't returned. By this time, night was falling and heavy rain poured down outside. Mrs. Wang was both worried about her son and anxious about her daughter-in-law, pacing back and forth in distress. Meanwhile, upon hearing that Kuihua was about to give birth, Li Zhongping felt a mix of joy and anxiety. He had quickly asked for leave and immediately set off for home. However, in his rush, he missed the last bus of the day. The house was far away and no taxis were willing to stop in Yingithan. Li Zhongping had no choice but to rely on his own 2 legs to make the journey home. The road conditions were poor, and with the heavy rain, the mountain paths became treacherous. What would have taken an hour by bus now seemed impossible to complete in 3 hours on foot. Li Zhongping was deeply worried. It was his first time becoming a father, a feeling that left him both excited and nervous. Lost in his thoughts, he failed to pay attention to the rough terrain beneath his feet. The result was as expected. In his hurry, Li Zhongping accidentally stepped on a patch of slippery dirt. His body immediately lost balance and he slipped. Without time to react, he fell from a slope on the mountain road. Fortunately, the place where he fell was mostly soft ground and weeds, and the slope wasn't too steep, so he survived. However, the fall from a height of over 10 meters caused him to break his leg. The intense pain made Li Zhongping faint. When he regained consciousness, he found himself in the hospital. Fortunately, his family was safe, and Kuihua had delivered the baby safely. Li Zhongping suffered from an infection in his wound and had to stay in the hospital for over a month before being discharged. It wasn't until the baby was a month old that he saw it for the first time. But strangely, the baby of Li Zhongping's family was a silent child, one who never cried. From the moment of birth, it had never cried even once. When it saw Li Zhongping, instead of showing warmth, the baby looked at him with a resentful expression. At first, Li Zhongping thought this was the first time the baby had seen him, so perhaps it was still unfamiliar. He approached, intending to tease it to make it laugh. But instead of laughing, the baby not only didn't smile, but it also opened its little mouth and made a fierce sound, almost as if it was reproaching him. His wife, Kuihua, also found this strange, but Li Zhongping didn't think much of it. He figured the baby was still too young and its brain hadn't developed fully. He thought that as it grew, things would change. As the couple was discussing this, suddenly the baby began to cry. Kuihua thought it might be hungry, so she turned to go inside and breastfeed, leaving Li Zhongping standing alone in the yard. Standing there alone, in the cold breeze, Li Zhongping's mind was filled with chaotic thoughts. He blamed himself for breaking his leg, and now even the baby didn't recognize him. Why was he feeling so sad? Indeed, Li Zhongping's child was strange. Since birth, the baby neither cried nor smiled. But every time it saw Li Zhongping, it stared at him and cried. As long as Li Zhongping slept beside it, the baby would cry endlessly. This caused great worry for the couple, fearing that there might be something wrong with the baby's brain. With no other option, they took turns caring for the child. When the baby was held by its mother, everything was fine. But as soon as it was handed to Li Zhongping, the baby would cry even harder. In fact, it would cry so intensely that it seemed as though it was about to suffocate. The family tried everything they could, but nothing worked. As long as Li Zhongping was nearby, the baby would stay awake all night. Initially, the couple thought things would improve as the baby grew older, but by the time it turned 1, nothing had changed. Every time it saw Li Zhongping, it would cry. Not only that, but the baby frequently fell ill, getting sick every 2 or 3 days. This worried the whole family immensely. This morning, the baby developed a fever again. The couple quickly put on clothes and rushed to the hospital with their child. On the way, they ran into Zhang Dejin, a villager. The situation in Li Zhongping's family had become a topic of conversation for a long time, and everyone in the village knew about it. Seeing the couple rushing with their child, Zhang Dejin immediately guessed that something was wrong with the baby. The couple stopped to greet him, but since they were in a hurry, they didn't say much and quickly continued on their way. Zhang Dejin stood still, as if deep in thought. When Li Zhongping hadn't gone too far, Zhang Dejin called him back and spoke to him seriously. He suggested that Li Zhongping should take the time to consult a great immortal to see if the child had encountered something unclean. Li Zhongping agreed and left. Ever since hearing Zhang Dejin's advice, Li Zhongping couldn't stop thinking about it. Since the baby was born, the family had taken it to many large hospitals, but all the results were normal, and nothing abnormal was found. On top of that, the rumors from the village also reached his ears multiple times. Over time, the pressure led Li Zhongping to become addicted to alcohol. Only alcohol could help him temporarily forget his troubles. Not only did he drink, but he also didn't want to go home anymore because every time he returned, the baby would cry upon seeing him. As a result, Li Zhongping chose to stay at the factory dormitory. Every evening, he drank himself into a stupor, often causing a lot of noise, which made the people in the dorm begin to resent him. One time, Li Zhongping had been drinking outside and didn't return to the dormitory until midnight. Inadvertently, he made a loud noise, waking up his roommates who were sleeping peacefully. Among them was a man named Wang Jianfei, a close friend of the factory director, known for his bad temper and tendency to bully others. Woken up, Wang Jianfei became furious and immediately yelled at Li Zhongping. Already feeling uneasy and fueled by alcohol, Li Zhongping couldn't hold back and argued back. The exchange of words escalated, growing more intense with every passing moment. A proud man by nature, Wang Jianfei could not accept being spoken to in such a manner by Li Zhongping. Feeling humiliated, he stepped forward and punched Li Zhongping in the face. With just one punch, Li Zhongping fell to the ground, unconscious. In the end, the factory director had to compensate Li Zhongping with a few hundred yuan and decided to fire him. The reason given was creating trouble due to alcohol. What was unfair was that, despite clearly being the victim of the assault, Li Zhongping was still blamed and lost his job because Wang Jianfei had connections in the company. Li Zhongping was the breadwinner of the family, with all household expenses depending on him. Now, without a job, the family's situation became increasingly difficult and hopeless. As time passed, Li Zhongping continued to spiral downward. He spent all his time at home, drinking and smoking. His mother, Mrs. Li, watched her son fall into this state and felt utterly powerless. One day, Mrs. Li mentioned someone from the nearby village of Yangkun, a great immortal who specialized in helping people with their problems, named Lao Lin. She suggested that Li Zhongping go see him. Perhaps if there was something wrong, it could be resolved. Li Zhongping was an atheist and didn't believe in gods or anything supernatural. However, out of respect for his mother's pleading, he reluctantly agreed. When he looked at his young son, Li Xiaobing, the boy's gaze seemed to pierce through him with hatred. Since the baby's birth, nothing in Li Zhongping's life had gone smoothly, especially the way the child looked at him, like he was staring at a bitter enemy. Thinking about this, Li Zhongping tightly squeezed the nearly finished cigarette and decided to try following his mother's advice, like a living doctor, as she suggested. That afternoon, Li Zhongping prepared a small gift and went to the home of Lao Lin, the great immortal. Upon entering the house, he handed over the gift and began recounting the unfortunate events that had occurred recently. However, Lao Lin raised his hand, signaling for him to be quiet. Then he took Li Zhongping's finger, stared at it for a moment, and gently placed his hand on Li Zhongping's forehead. He began to speak about everything Li Zhongping had experienced since birth, as if all those memories were written in the palm of his hand. Initially, Li Zhongping remained skeptical, not fully convinced. But when he saw that the old man was able to count and accurately describe his past, he was completely convinced. He knelt down on the ground, earnestly asking him, "Why have I been so unlucky? And what is the deal with that strange child?" After listening to Li Zhongping's account, Mr. Song, known as the headman, sighed, his face becoming serious. He began to recount Li Zhongping's past life. It turned out that in his past life, Li Zhongping was a cruel thief. One time, he led a group of gangsters to attack and rob the house of a wealthy homeowner. This homeowner was a good man who often provided food to the poor. Because of his wealth and kindness, he became the target of Li Zhongping. When the house was robbed, the homeowner handed over all his money in exchange for his family's lives. But Li Zhongping was still dissatisfied. He continued to lead his men to abuse the homeowner's wife, and in the end, he killed the entire family. The homeowner, while alive, was a kind person who helped many others. His family's unjust death enraged the poor people he had once helped. The villagers had pooled together money and invited an Eastern sorcerer to cast a curse on Li Zhongping. This curse was so powerful that it could almost never be broken. Even with offerings, there was no way to lift it. Now, Li Zhongping's son in this life was the vengeful spirit coming to collect the debt from the past life. Mr. Song added, "Only if Li Zhongping dies will this curse be lifted." Upon hearing these words, Li Zhongping left Mr. Song's house in a daze. He understood that the time had come for him to make a choice. After many days of contemplation, Li Zhongping decided to follow Mr. Song's advice. For the safety of his family, he must leave as far as possible. Since then, no one has seen Li Zhongping again. No one knows where he went or how he is living. This is where the story ends. Thank you for your attention, and we hope to meet again.